Pisces, what's up? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. Happy to have you all out there. This will be a general tarot message for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Of course, anyone is welcome into this reading. I just ask that you come in with an open heart and an open mind, a desire to better yourself. If the messages that come through don't resonate, feel free to push them aside. You can disregard them, or you can choose to follow back at another date. They may resonate for you in the future, so again, just be open to that as well. All right, let's tap into Pisces energy. Let's see. I'm just going to do an untraditional one. All right, celebrations and reunions. What are we celebrating? we're celebrating not moving forward on something, or we're seeing the positive side to a necessary delay, something that maybe it's paused or frozen and out of your control. It's almost like the idea of dancing through the rainstorm. So tell me a little bit more about, I actually really like this energy because it's saying you're not wallowing in the indecision. You're not necessarily wallowing in the unknown or the unfamiliar, the fear of whatever. Maybe you're waiting on an outcome or results, and it's just like, hey, you know what? It's out of our control, so let's do our best to celebrate life and enjoy what's up ahead, even though there's things maybe we don't have it all figured out yet, right? That's a very positive spin on sort of that Pisces, Neptune foggy confusion energy. You can wallow in it and allow it to be weighted and heavy, or you can kind of dance through life, and it seems like most of you are taking that option. The only other alternative I see to this message, and again, this will be for a select few of you, not for everyone, if there is an important decision that you need to make, it says to me, most of you already know the answer because it rests within you. It's your intuition. So there's two messages. Some of you may be seeking guidance outside your internal navigation system, which is your intuition. You may be seeking confirmations from those around you. And I think the universe is really challenging you to go with your gut instincts, really testing out that intuition and seeing if the answers that you know to be true on the inside actually manifest when you move forward with that decision. Others of you, if it doesn't have to do with seeking, I don't know if approval or confirmation is the right thing, but seeking some sort of, like hearing your thoughts reflected or mirrored back to you. Some of you, it purposely, as almost like a test, the universe is going to contrast what your intuition is telling you when you open up the conversation to a larger group, because really what I'm getting is you're the one it affects. So sometimes seeking the answers external to yourself, in fact, usually seeking answers external to yourself and what you already know, is not always the right advice. Trust your heart, trust your gut, Pisces. You're incredibly intuitive, and good things come when you listen to that intuition. You are ruled by Jupiter, so you have to remember there is sort of this kind, compassionate, what's a good word for it? Almost like godly-like energy that is steering your intuition when you do choose to listen to it. Others of you, if there is an important decision you need to move forward with, particularly a heavy or uncomfortable conversation, it's time to have it. Some of you might be delaying it because you'd rather just sort of do the fun stuff and not take care of the serious matters. So those are three main messages that came from just these two cards. So, pick your story depending on if it fits your narrative right now. Which one do I want to focus on? To be honest, the first message that came through, though, is just YOLO, enjoying life. Again, accepting what is out of your control if things are frozen or still or delayed. As long as you put in as much effort as you can, sometimes there's a very positive outcome when you sort of detach and release what you know is out of your control. What are we focusing on here? What is sort of endings and transitions of cycles? It's funny. The first thing I think I said to you, which almost didn't make sense when I said it out loud, was celebrating something that didn't happen or celebrating the end of something. Scorpio season, right? So by nature, some of the elements or some of the planets, right, moving through Scorpio are in theory going to try and meaning make a positive aspect to your planets that exist in that watery Pisces, right? So for my Pisces suns out there watching, or if you're a Pisces Venus, when planets start to move through Scorpio, there's going to be a few days that do feel very blissful and happy and socializing. Mercury in particular, right? This is Mercury in Cancer. That's the planetary association with this card. So connecting, reaching out to people, relating, having fun conversations. One more on this death card, please. Moving past some sort of conflict. Maybe it is internal conflict for some of you. If you are in a situation where you're needing to sort of navigate something independently. I'm going to stick with what I said, where it's not necessarily asking for advice from others. You can choose to do that, but what I really want you to see is that the universe is saying trust your gut. And sometimes walking away from this do I or don't I and just immersing yourself in some positive energy, you may walk away feeling like revitalized and more willing or able to make some sort of important decision. If something isn't stuck or it's not moving, walk away from it. Release it for a day, for an hour, for a week, whatever you can do. Come back to it with a fresh perspective, with fresh eyes, with a more clear internal balance. Yeah, immersing yourself in some lighthearted energy right now is going to do you good, even or especially when it comes to making important decisions regarding more serious matters in your life. There might be some area in life where you're joining a team, but it would be a very competitive situation with the sort of this Leo energy and Scorpio, which is ruled by planet Mars. It can be the athlete. It can be, the champion, the coach, the warrior who wants to climb the mountain. I want to highlight, though, because it's coming out next to the Three of Cups, it's some sort of like band. You're joining some sort of team or group of people. And I don't know if you're competing against other teams. It could be something like, joining a basketball team, or if it's not competition, it's putting a lot of your energy and passion and lighthearted energy into something that serves the group. So it could even be some sort of, club or social dynamic, social team. And it could be that a Scorpio is actually involved or the one sort of leading you through it. It's like they're the one who's leading the parade. You're following in the footsteps of a Scorpio. And that may even have to do with like a best friend or a family member. If they were carrying the torch for this thing, for this position, for this game, for this activity, you may end up in a positive way. I'm almost getting like riding on their coattails a little bit, but it's not the negative connotation of that. It's like following their footsteps. That's what I get. It's like the Scorpio paved the way for you. There's a little bit of a trailblazing energy. So they've made it easier for you to immerse yourself in this. So enjoy it. Have fun. Know that it was sort of divinely guided. It's something that you're going to enjoy, even if at first there's a little bit of competition or fear or feeling a little bit overwhelmed, like you're in the thick of it, or just, I think what it is for you, Pisces, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of personalities here. And so there's just that sense of overwhelming emotions, even if it's not necessarily bad, it might just be a lot of new people. And so it's going to take time to get comfortable in this group. But I actually think this is a very powerful group. This is a very transformative group, a transformative group of people in your life, a good group of allies that can help you. I like that very much. Some of you may even be joining some sort of group that meets specifically to transform or change something. It could be some sort of crisis group. It could be a group of recovering addicts. It could be a group dealing with loss or mourning the death of something. It's something positive where you end up learning to celebrate life and celebrating the small victories, especially if that's something that you have been opposed to or not wanting to deal with. If there's some internal struggle or plight, it's almost like you find yourself within a group of people who have similar issues, who you can air energy relate to, who you can commune with, communicate with, people who help bring internal balance and harmony into your life. Not a good time to isolate right now, Pisces. I'm going to say it. It's actually a good time for you to be social, where and if you can be. So what are we sitting on here? This indecision, what can I put below it that's sort of indicating what this either delay or struggle is? It's going to be slightly different for a lot of you. All right, so an old wound that maybe was recently reopened or triggered by something. Judgment is very much connected to sort of that Scorpio-Pluto energy, the awakening of something from your past, right? The rising up, judgment day, to meet the final judgment on what to do or how to take care of the situation. Not always the most comfortable energy, but it is a huge card indicating that transformation and change is inevitable, right? Judgment is card number 20. Eventually it leads into card 21, which is the World, which is like the final culmination or completion. I have a very strong feeling that you're going to meet this matter in eclipse season, especially if it's been an ongoing issue or something that you've tried to heal or take care of, but maybe weren't super successful, or it always felt like there were pieces of the puzzle left unfinished. Where I believe we're having a full moon in Taurus, which initiates the start of eclipse season. And eclipse season will be an intense change for every zodiac sign, not just you, Pisces. But there might be some illumination with that full moon when it's at its peak, it's brightest in the sky. You're able to see things that at one point in time were maybe a bit foggy or unclear. There's an awakening and it calls your attention to something, but it's very loud. It's very bright. You're able to see it. There's visibility. When at one point there wasn't before, it was just that little crescent. It was just that little feeling or that little intuitive hit. Something presents itself. Yeah, okay, cool. Something presents itself in a much more illuminated way. I'm almost wanting to say with more, well, like crystal clarity. That's what I'm hearing, so I'm just going to relay it. This is frequently a card of foundations that we've started to build. It can be a card of victories, of celebrations, it can be of soulmates. It's typically a wedding card. And it's the 1111, divine timing, soulmates, twin flames, if you believe in that sort of thing. It is about relationships. I'm going to say too, I know I never want to be the tarot reader that tells you have to go back to someone from the past, because some of you don't want that. And I also don't really like to advocate clinging on to people of the past and hoping they come back. I think that's a poor use of our energies. However, if there is a reawakening of feelings and it's mutual and there's a mutual desire to meet each other halfway, it's possible some of you may have a reawakening with a soulmate from your past. It could be from a past lifetime. For others of you, it could very clearly be like a Scorpio. You have a lot of Scorpio reawakening, reemerging energy, Phoenix from the ashes. And so with that, maybe if there was a lot of struggle or conflict and something had to die off, maybe you guys sort of had to isolate for a bit and go on your own sort of individual spiritual paths. It's possible that this may come together quite unexpectedly. We have to remember that full moon in Taurus, it has the influence of that sort of Uranian energy. Planet Uranus or Uranus, however you want to say it, is sitting in Taurus. So while the eclipse and the full moon isn't happening to the exact degree of that planet, that is a big outer planet. There's a strong influence of unexpected shock and reawakening. So something about that may come into fruition for you, Pisces. I like this card. I like this card a lot. In fact, I'm going to keep it because it came out there. Your King of Cups, yet another Scorpio card. And maybe it's important to point out too, just for sort of some astrology knowledge, which I always like to throw in where I can. Scorpio is sort of the polar opposite of Taurus. So the south node is sitting in Scorpio. The north node, which is the point of destiny, the point of sort of arrival, where we're supposed to move towards as a collective. Right now it's sitting in Taurus. A sign of, very closely connected to Venus, a sign of pleasure, music, enjoying the tactile, simple things in life. It's very grounded. It's connected with earth and nature. It's stable. It's solid. It's fixed earth. It's established. It's loyal. And not to say Scorpio isn't those things, but with Taurus, there's much more of the ability to be placid, to be at peace within ourselves and within nature. Whereas part of the Scorpio identity is that vast shifting, that transformation. Again, death and then rebirth. With Scorpio, there's frequently a state of crisis or urgency. It's just part of that sort of nature to transform and come out the other side of it alive and awakened and morphed, right? Morphed into like this new version of ourselves. So I'm not sure why I'm saying that, other than maybe this did have to do with some sort of connection, whether it was romantic or platonic, that it did have to go through a series of intense changes for it to come out on top, to be the king, the best it could be. This is a very lucky, very fortuitous card. There is reason to celebrate and rejoice here. It could be a connection of the past, right? If this isn't romantic, it's possible that you may have had a falling out with a friendship and it's come back in sort of this new chapter in your life, awakened to see new possibilities, to maybe let our guard down and be more open about what we want and our desires. But also, I'm going to give you the dual message here, but also setting healthier boundaries, knowing when to say, oh, that's where I'm going to stop giving, right? I'm willing to give so much, but King of Cups, again, scorpionic energy, the fixity of the king, he knows where to give and where to take, because he's well versed, he's well skilled in practicing the merging of emotions, and where it gets too messy, where he needs to sort of close off and be self-protective, right? The Scorpio does have that stinger, and it will come out if it needs it, for protection, for that survival instinct. But with that, it can be fiercely loyal. It can very much be very protective of what it wants to keep and what it wants to nourish, what it wants to be in company with. Interesting. So you have some fire here too. It's funny because the fire and the water, it's like they have difficulty coexisting. It's almost like these people are in opposition. They're not facing each other. They have to turn around, they have to acknowledge each other, they have to find a way to be compatible or work together. This almost makes me think of temperance too, the idea of mixing fire and water. Sort of the Archangel Michael, the angel of love, he's always shown passing material or bounty from the cups back and forth, but it is the mixing of fire and water. So it could be somebody who is, if it is a Scorpio, someone who's quite cuspy with Sagittarius, that might be a player or a factor in this. Maybe a Cancer Leo cusper or a Pisces Aries cusper, yeah. Two kings, interesting. So especially for my same-sex couples too, that might apply to some of you out there. Let's see. If someone were to let down their guard here, what would they be accepting? Those came right out. Let's see. They would be accepting more truth. They would be accepting more honesty and the freedom to express oneself about important choices, potentially in one's love life. The Lovers is frequently about decisions and options. It's Gemini in energy, so it is sort of this back and forth within ourselves, right? The masculine and feminine, the two twins kind of wanting to find one another. But then a lot of times that sort of internal struggle manifests, external to us in a way, where it's like we end up searching for our twin out in the world. It's interesting that I did mention like the whole twin flame story or scenario here. Some of you are feeling not severed, but feeling broken off or broken up on the inside, and so you're searching for that missing piece in your life, that missing piece of the puzzle. And I think what all this about is finding it within yourself so that you don't go out into the world feeling half measure or broken or needing completion or closure. You're going to find that within, so that way when you go out into the world knowing that you yourself are this whole person, you're going to find someone who matches that vibe. A lot of times who and what we meet in life, it is to reflect back to ourselves what we need to find internally. The idea of the twin flame, right? Reflected back, the mirror, right? Sometimes we seek and desire people who are almost too similar to us, so that it's almost like a lesson that we're supposed to absorb, because it brings illumination, it brings light to the fact of things that we need to heal within ourselves. I hope this is making sense to you guys. A conversation between lovers, something came between you guys, for some of you, or any relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic. For some of you, it probably is. But where's the cups? We have this reunion, potentially with the Three of Cups, or a celebration among many. This is not typically like my one-on-one exclusive dating card. So maybe something ended because somebody wasn't willing to commit exclusively. That's possible. Maybe there was talk or discussion of marriage, and maybe there was a resistance to it, right? If this is the marriage card and, revisiting the same conversation, it's possible that, whoever or whatever this was, you are a mutable sign, Pisces. So in theory, freedom might be very important to some of you, but also merging, right? I mean, it's possible that you had to walk away and find your own inner truth to reconcile the imbalance, or I don't mean to be rude, but almost like the broken or the unhinged part that felt like you needed to seek partnership outside yourself. Of course you can date, of course you can be married, but I don't know, something about this to me was saying it felt like there was a severing or a wound internally that had to be healed. This is a really great avenue, or a really great avenue for you to heal whatever feels broken inside, if this is your story, right? It won't be everybody's, but yeah, that's what I mean. Some sort of like healing or therapy group where you bring major change and transformation, you rebirth yourself into the world, and then you come out the other side very ready to conquer the world. To not just ask for what you want, to demand it. And if you're not getting it, then you have other options then, right? You're not necessarily committing yourself to that idea of like the one person or the one soulmate, Pisces, plenty of fish in the sea. More willing to make decisions too, understanding where maybe you were leaning into people pleasing or avoidance. That's very big with this card. An avoidance as to not poke or pry or make someone uncomfortable because you've already had this conversation so many times, but you're still not on the same page. So maybe we'll go out and avoid it and revisit it later. Some of you, I think you're moving past that. You're understanding that if I've asked for what I want and they're saying no or they're rejecting it, it doesn't mean that I'm wrong in wanting it. It means I'm asking the wrong person for it. Boom. That's your message, Pisces. I love that. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about money. Scorpio, Gemini, I don't know, maybe Cancer. Those are kind of the main ones coming out there. Anything about money that I can relay to my Pisces? Pisces people, how you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. Let's do a quick thing on money. I love how your soulmate card is still showing. It wants to be seen. And that whole message of like the two and the twins and the Gemini, that very frequently will relate to Pisces as well, because you are the sign of duality. You're the fish swimming in the opposite direction. So sometimes it is about taking the road less traveled, or giving the time and attention to the part of yourself that does feel inadequate or lacking. You know, you have the fish that swims upstream towards the higher vibration, the spirituality, the compassion, the loving, the kindness, the empathy, you know, the artist, the poet, right? And then there's that other fish that's kind of swimming downstream. It's tempted to go into sort of that wallowy or weeping sorrow quality, the victim, the martyr, that sort of thing. So the two can coexist, but they need to learn from each other and in itself sort of strengthen each other, form some sort of solid foundation. I actually really like that message. I hope you guys are digging it too. Anyway, let's pull out of that energy. What can I tell my Pisces about anything job or career related? If they have a burning question out there, any kind of hope or optimism or messages that they need to hear right now for Pisces. My beautiful little fishies. Oh yeah, 10 of Cups. You're going to be fine. You're going to be happy. Find your soul family. Find your people. If you are struggling in any sort of work or money connection, there's a huge band of people that you can rely on, who will support you, who will guide you. And there's an important message too. Make sure that you're showing up and doing the work, not just relying on favors. That's part of the Piscean message, or I shouldn't say Piscean. I think part of the Jupiter message. Sagittarius falls into this category too, where sometimes there can be a stroke of really good luck, where things are just kind of handed to you without even asking for them. And so it's not a curse or a gift per se. It's just sort of the order of the universe, that Jupiter energy. You're going to have periods that just feel very strangely lucky. However, sometimes we become accustomed to that just being the norm. So when it gets taken away, sometimes people can fall into this, well, you know, where's my stuff? Where are my people? Go out and find them, but make sure that there's reciprocity there, that you're giving back too. So if you're actually in a good place, you know, I don't just mean financially, but in terms of service, what you go out in the world and do, this may be an excellent time for you guys to sort of find a group where it is your mission and your goal to give back, to be compassionate, to maybe fight for the underdog, to protest or do something for human rights, you know, something like that. There's almost an Aquarian vibe to that. Like we're all equal, colors of the rainbow, joining forces, coming together. I love that. Or maybe something with women's empowerment. I'm not even sure if that's career oriented or just something that it may end up filling up or taking up more of your time. There's almost like a political aspect to that too. Yeah, maybe demonstration or speeches. Some of you are gonna I'm almost getting like Bob Dylan, like political activism, but like singing or like a poetic form of participating in like societal issues. I know that's not for all of you, but the Magician, it can be very performative. It can be using the voice, public speaking. It can be someone who's putting a lot of time and energy and effort into writing, poetry, songs, journals, blogging. It can be a performative element of, doing something in the media. It could also have to do with science and technology. I mean, this is a little all over the place. I feel like it's way too broad right now, but for some of you, there's a lot of research being done, data and information, like Excel spreadsheets. I'm not sure exactly what that is. You seem to be joining forces with someone, and this might be doing a lot of charity work or giving back to groups, giving back to the community, giving back to like Mother Earth or planet Earth. I'm not sure if it's the right time seasonally to do this, but you might be preparing for something later on with the Death card. You may be transitioning out of an old cycle in more areas than one and preparing for something big. But yeah, I almost see you giving back to the Earth in some very important way. There's a huge theme of service here. Spreading joy, spreading luck, spreading generosity, spreading kindness, speaking up for those who can't, or bringing light, attention, speaking on behalf of people, to bring awareness and raise funds. I mean, it's possible some of you are just doing like a small fundraiser or donations. I mean, the holidays are coming up, so I suppose that makes sense. Gathering items and things for charity, giving of gifts. It's a time to look away from hoarding or holding on to and releasing it to others. Spreading sort of that benevolence of that Jupiter energy. That's what I meant. I feel like I wasn't very eloquent when I was trying to send that message about giving it back, but that's really what it is. It's reciprocity. You get what you give. So if you give a lot, you're going to get a lot. And I feel like that's something Pisces sort of intuitively know. 12th house, there's like huge themes of cycles, endings, and then new beginnings. In terms of money, you do have the King of Pentacles. Anything else we can tell people about this? Very strong earthly presence. So if you're working in a group, someone is very likely a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. They're good with money and finances, but there's a generosity to move the money. This is very big for sales. The Magician, Mercurial energy. He's kind of the salesman, right? He's trying to sell you the idea of what you should do with your money. Some of you might be working in investments or loans or land or property, selling those things, talking about them, writing about them, marketing them, publicizing them. Anything that you can harvest or reap from the land too, especially in terms of food and nourishment, material goods. Crystal shops, I just heard. That's funny. Pisces. Ooh, this is a triumphant new beginning. There's a huge streak of rebellion and bravery in you. I almost see this as a very empowered, like calling out the bullshit. There might be new management or new rules and regulations taking place. There may be some sort of what you feel is impeding upon your freedom or your ability to enjoy what it is that you do. You may be counteracting some sort of, almost like, as I said, like sort of something political, but even like politics of the office or politics of the workplace. There might be a new rule book coming into play here. The planets in Scorpio right now are squaring off the planet Saturn, which is sitting in Aquarius, which is sort of a constriction on the people, right? Rewriting the policies, the rule book. Saturn likes limits. Saturn likes to be the authority. Saturn likes you to work hard and earn it. But a lot of you are saying, what are you talking about? We have earned it. It's like, we've been here longer than this new management. So who are you to come in and reallocate the resources and how much we're getting paid, or, the health policy, or there's some sort of, I'm not going to drink the Kool-Aid. You're taking a stand and very powerfully vocalizing or speaking or writing about, I don't know if it's injustice or just something that doesn't seem like it's for the best of the people. It doesn't seem compassionate. It's not coming from that well of love and caring and those beautiful Piscean things. And this could be someone who you're taking a stand against. Maybe you are dealing with someone who is not sharing or not giving, and you're going to change their mind. Through powerful words and powerful communication. It's very unflinching, but at the truth of it, you're operating out of a lens or a principle of compassion. That's very important here. All right, Pisces, that's what I got for you. That was a hell of a career reading. I don't know if anyone's going to resonate with that, but I certainly hope so. This is a powerful time of transformation, revelation, revolution. There's an Aquarian theme here, so I wonder if some of you are maybe cuspy with Aquarius or have planets in Aquarius. All right, guys, that's what I got for you this week. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon for more tarot. Bye, Pisces.